Yeah! Wow! Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, we're here, a live audience tonight, 3:36 p.m. Pacific Time, 5/3/2023, and here I am. We just got back off the road tonight, and man, it has been one hell of a day out there. Wanted to drop in and invite you all to the show tonight with myself and Chad Nicholson, my co-host and vice president of Destiny Global Communications Network and Alternative Public Radio International and Lone Wolf Radio, along with our many other missions that we're running and projects and programs and special events and critical outreach and crisis management and our tactical team for the disaster unit and all of our other planning and development programs that are going on here in the Northwest. And tonight we're going to be talking about advanced human communication and its complexities. And we're going to talk about many of the idiosyncrasies that people have and many of the misinterpretations of communication versus just talking to someone. We're going to be going fairly in depth talking about the communication process, languages, lexicon, definition, body language, verbal cues, receiving and transmitting information, interruptions, and noise during the communication process. What will make you a better communicator? What makes people not be able to effectively communicate? And how to be more successful in your job, your work, your board meeting, your family relationships, your current relationship, relationship you have with your children and loved ones and coworkers and others. It's going to be a very powerful show. I think that some of you will pick up some really important tips that you can use to increase your potential for success in manifesting a better financial future for yourself and your family. It's really important to learn how to communicate. We're going to talk about the importance of voice, tone, rhythm, and volume. We're going to talk about the decibel of sound and resonance. We're going to talk about all of these things, and it's a very interesting subject and one that's very close to my heart because I'm going to school to be a sociologist, to get my doctorate in sociology and communications, and it's something I love, and it's very important to all of us, because it has to do with consciousness. It has to do with intent and focus and understanding and comprehension. It has to do with concept, and it has to do with your ability to grasp certain higher meanings of the matrix and what's going on in the matrix and the geopolitical global geopolitical situation as well as the economic crash that's happening now, all of the other debacles and sabotage, and all of the train wrecks and plane wrecks, and all of the barges that are crashing into bridges and sending toxic chemicals down the river. Yes, all of these things have to do with communication, believe it or not. Someone failed to communicate, or someone communicated a very nefarious, diabolical message to someone who had the ability to do all of those terrible things to all of those innocent people. So, yes, communication is very, very important, especially in the type of work that we do with talk shows and with investigative reporting and research, bringing you information on all of these important issues that are going on around the world in many different cultures, traditions, creeds, and dogmas and religion and languages and places and spaces and people. Very, very important, and something that I have, as I said, been interested in for years and years and years. And this is why I really became a talk show host, I think, was to not only uh, communicate with people, but to learn to communicate better with people and to learn what the communication process really involves at the higher levels of consciousness and awareness. And, it's something that a lot of you just don't think about. You take communication for granted and take it at face value that you understand all of these complex, very tricky, mysterious variables involved in this process. And it's not an easy thing to do to become a master communicator. And it's not an easy thing to do to have relationships with other people, meaningful relationships, long term relationships that are sustainable and that are solid and synchronistic and balanced and harmonious and productive and prosperous. And learning to be a better communicator can help you do that. And of course, this segues into attitude and behavior. It segues into your ability to control your emotions and temper and temperament. It segues into um, your overall uh, perspective on life itself, both the inner life and the outer life, or the internal environment or external environment. And it also has to do with ego. Someone with a really twisted ego, especially those who think they're a lot smarter than they really are, have trouble communicating, although some people actually use it to their advantage to manipulate and coerce other people to do things they want them to do. And these are master communicators. They're actually grifters, and that can be good and that can be bad because the communication process involves manipulation. It involves coercion. We're going to talk about that tonight. It involves selling someone something. You're selling someone yourself. You're selling them your ideas. You're selling them your vision, your dreams, your concepts. You're selling them your definition of life. You're selling them your experience. Uh, you know, you're always trying to sell something to someone, and someone is always trying to sell something to you. And people get into these conversations about religion, politics, and sex, and relationships, and other very complex things, and things start to go south because people do not understand the communication process, or people have a lack of education or comprehensive understanding of the issues that are at hand. A lot of people think they know a whole lot more than they do, and a lot of people know a lot and have a very humble attitude about it. And they don't go around pushing people around, pushing people's buttons, causing fights and arguments, and causing people to be upset. They don't go around upsetting the apple cart, as Grandma used to say. So it's very important to learn synchronicity and balance and harmony in this process of communication. And it is not easy. It takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of face-to-face practice. Face-to-face practice with communication is not like texting someone, and it's not like being on a Zoom call or a Skype call with someone. It's not even like emailing someone. There's so many differences in the way you communicate, and it changes the paradigm. It changes the rhythm of the way things come out. It changes the overall perspective. It changes the overall outcome, and it changes the overall power in the message, either decreasing the power or increasing the power of the message, depending upon the angle of attack, so to speak. Is it face to face? Is it eye to eye? Is it text to text? Is it voice to voice? So we're going to be talking about those very important. thing tonight. Y'all drop by. It's blogtalkradio.com, and it's Lone Wolf Radio. We go live at 6 p.m. Monday through Friday Pacific time. 6 p.m. Pacific time on Blog Talk Radio. Show is Lone Wolf Radio. The number for the show is 646 716 8423. 616 716 8423. And tonight is June? Yeah, June the 3rd already, 2023, 3:47 p.m. So we go live in about 2 hours and 10 minutes, 11 minutes, 12 minutes. We'll be there, front and center, Ted Nicholson and myself. And we may have a few other guests drop by and say hello. The show is really flying off the wall. We're very proud of all the downloads. We're very proud of all the people dropping by. We're proud of all the people sharing the shows. I hope you all share this uh, episode that I'm doing now here on Breaker. It helps us a lot in our outreach programs that we do, feeding our women and children and supplying our food pantries up here with food. They're all very bare right now. The shelves are very bare on food. And so Marion and I are trying our best to manipulate that system and go out and gather food and bring it where it's needed, as well as helping the mentally ill up here. And there's a lot of that going on with these things that are happening in the world. People are very depressed and very stressed out. And there seems to be a collective insanity um, at hand here. Uh, People have called it the zombie apocalypse. People have called it the Walking Dead. People have called these people the sheeple people, the air breathers, all of these different kinds of words people use for folks who might have rolled up their sleeve, at Walgreens or one of those stores and had something stuck in their arm. People seem to be reacting to this thing in some very violent ways, very dangerous ways, very deadly ways. Um, some of these folks are actually losing their minds now that they've found out that that wasn't the best choice, is rolling up their sleeve. And then we have people now still rolling up their sleeve, and this is perplexing to me. This is very shocking to me to know that we have all of this information coming in concerning the dangers of this ritual of rolling up your sleeve and how deadly it is. And people are still out there rolling up their sleeve. And not only that, but they're dragging their children in and rolling up their sleeves against their better judgment, I'm sure. Kids don't like needles, and I don't either, unless I'm the one sticking the needle in you because I'm a former paramedic and I worked in emergency medicine for many, many years. But I don't like to go to doctors. I'll tell you that right now. I don't like to go to doctors. I don't like to have needles stuck in me, by strange people running in the room holding needles. That scares me to death. Um, we're trying to build a radio station, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to know the censorship is going to get terrible here. It's going to get so much worse than it is right now. For all of you who are into social media, and especially those of you who might have a talk show or a business of some kind, the censorship is the hammer is coming down with this C11 bill that was signed recently in Canada a couple of weeks ago, I think it was. Is coming to the United States with a social credit score from the CCP, Chinese Communist Party. The United States Incorporated has adopted this insanely draconian social credit score, and the digital passport and the CBDC, the central bank digital surveillance coin, I call it currency. And this is also going to put a damper on things. And, they're calling out hate speech now for people who aren't even hateful. This happened just the other night on a show I was doing from South Korea. they shut one of my producers down on YouTube for hate speech. There wasn't any hate speech in the show whatsoever that we could determine after listening to the show and analyzing the audio. There was no hate speech at all anywhere that even would resemble hate speech. And so they're just shutting people down just because they want to. And, if you're not following the leftist agenda, they're going to shut you down. If you're not following the leftist agenda and you're making fun of the leftist agenda, or you're having some kind of an anti-narrative concerning the COVID vaccine, they're going to shut you down or put you in jail or fine you, demonetize you, or whatever. Just, rip you off the planet, make you invisible. And it's going to be the same for homeschoolers being shut down, shut out. It's going to be the same for gun owners. It's going to be the same for just about anyone, Christians, um, Catholics. There's zillions of Catholics out there, zillions of Christians out there. Good people. Good people. We're not talking about the crazy stuff that goes on in these places because crazy shit goes on everywhere, including your house. So you can't go around pointing the finger at everybody because when you point the finger at somebody, you got three fingers pointing back at you. But I'm not here to really talk about that tonight. I'm just trying to tell you that the censorship, the hammer's coming down and it's coming down hard. The World Economic Forum, along with the Trilateral Commission and the Council on Foreign Relations and the United Nations and BlackRock and the mainstream media and all of these other black op agencies and things, and the military industrial complex that's out there, the rogue entities out there are destroying this country. They're ripping it apart piece by piece, thread by thread, fiber by fiber. They're ripping it apart as we speak right now. And those of you who don't know this have been hiding under the bed or something, or had your head stuck in a hole like an ostrich, because our country is literally falling apart right before our very eyes here, folks. And it really perturbs me. I did an Instagram today on this, and it really perturbs me that you're not standing up. We're not standing up. We're not standing out. We're not moving forward. And we're not saying enough is enough. Stop now. Let's arrest these criminals that are committing thousands and thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of felonies every day. Let's arrest these criminals that are sending billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars to the war machine over there in the Middle East. And let's just put a stop to all of this silliness and all of this theater and dog and pony show and all of these diversions and all of this wag the dog stuff that's going on. Let's just put a stop to it. Let's buck up, let's suck it up, put on the big boy underwear and the big girl panties. Let's go out there and stop to it. Well, but we won't. We won't. I've been talking about this for 20 years and nothing's changed. People in America are just lazy, passive. They're just consuming, wasting, ranting, raving, bitching, moaning, crying, whining, stressed out, worried, mixed up, confused. You know, we can't seem to get on the same page with each other. We can't seem to agree on anything. Really, we can't even seem to agree to disagree anymore. We can't even communicate. That's why I'm doing this show on communications tonight. I'm going to be talking about how this has affected this whole country. A lack of education in communication has affected this country in such a negative way, such a terrible way. And how many people have been affected by this? I mean, my God, people are losing their homes by the millions. People are becoming homeless by the millions. People are becoming bankrupted by the millions. We have millions of people undernourished. Some are starving. We have our domestic violence rate has gone up exponentially. Our crimes against persons in general has gone up. Homicides have gone up. Carjackings have gone sky high. This fentanyl problem, along with this other drug, is going along beside it has just gotten to the point it's epidemic, killing so many of our young people that are overdosing on this fentanyl. It's being sent over from Southeast Asia and China to Mexico and then coming in through the Mexican border. Uh, not by innocent, hardworking Mexicans, but by people who are nefarious and diabolical with us to bring that poison in to kill our children and others who would smoke it or inject it or sniff it or whatever. So, I love y'all and I will see you tonight on the show. I hope y'all take care and be safe. Be safe. I love you.